Alright, another video lesson for this week. Okay, we talked about writing expressions versus equations already. And so now we're going to be able to simplify those down, and we're going to be able to add some like terms together. Okay, now you may have heard like terms before. You may have not. Alright, depending on what Miss Trudeau covered last year and how much in depth she covered that stuff. But I think you've at least heard of the terms. Maybe you don't remember what it's like or how to do it. That's why we're going to do it today. And then we're really going to have to get good at this, because the rest of the year we're going to be talking about like terms in order to simplify down some expressions and some equations. Okay, so let's get to what a like term is. Alright, a like term are terms whose variables, including exponents, are the same. Alright, so it's terms. Terms are separated by any type of operation. Okay, except for multiplication and division. So terms are only separated with a terms are only separated with an addition sign or a subtraction sign. Okay? Now here are some examples of like terms. Alright? We have 2x, negative 10x, and just x. Now remember, the coefficient in front of x on this last one would be a 1. There's always that invisible 1 there. Okay? So now if we were to add these like terms, like our unit is telling us to do, okay, we're going to take 2x, we're going to add a negative 10x, and we're going to add a 1x. How many total x's do I have? Okay, here would be negative 8x plus 1x. So now I have a total of, not 9, negative 7x. Okay, those are what all of my x's added up are going to equal. Okay, in this case, now remember, when we're talking like terms, our variables have to be the same and our exponents have to be the same. Alright, I have the same variable, it's a y, and I have the same exponent, it's squared, or to the power of 2. Okay, so if I add those two together, I'm going to get negative 84y squared. I keep my variable and I keep my exponent when I'm adding like terms. Okay? Now, it says variables, not just one, it could be two. And that's what we have in the last example here. Okay? We have just 4 times x times y, or 4xy. And we have 7xy. So if we add all of our xy's together, we're actually going to have 11xy. Okay? So that would be adding those like terms there in that case. Alright? We have the same variable and we have the same exponent. Alright? Now, unlike terms. Okay? Let's look at the opposite. So we're going to have terms that do not have the same variables. Alright, so examples of some unlike terms would be when we have a z and an x. There's no way we can add apples and oranges, alright, but we can add apples and apples. In this case, we don't have that. So we have to be careful. We cannot say this is 7xz. That is not a thing. Okay? We cannot add same variables. Different variables, ones that are not the same variables. Okay? Now here we have the same variable. Okay, but if we were to go back and look at what a like term is, it also has to have the same exponent. Okay? I don't have the same exponents here. This is to the power of 1, and the negative 7y squared is to the power of 2. Alright? So we cannot add these together. These are called unlike terms, when they have different variables or they have different exponents. Okay? Now, here are some combining like terms and expressions. Remember, expressions do not have equal signs in them. Okay? I don't see an equal sign, but I do see an expression. Okay? Now, remember, like terms, variables and exponents. Okay? I have a 4x and I have a negative 6x. I'm going to change my subtraction to an addition problem and then do the opposite. Alright? So if I take these two together, that would be a negative 2x. 4x plus negative 6x gives me negative 2x. Then, I don't have any other y term. No other variables of y. So I'm just going to keep that plus 7y. And then I have this constant term at the end. Alright? Nothing else can go with it. So now I just have a plus 7. There's no variable, there's no exponent, so I can leave that alone. Alright? This would be the final answer when you add the like terms for this expression. Let's take a look at another one. Okay? So, like terms always have the same variable and they have the same exponent. Okay? I see a y squared and I see a y squared. So now those two are going to go together. They are like terms. 4y squared plus 3y squared gives me 7y squared. Now those are gone. I've already added them together. Okay? I see a y, just a plain y, and I don't see any other plain y. So I'm going to add my 5y. Okay? Then, I look at the 9, which really is negative because it's a minus sign. But I also see that there's a 10 over here. There's no variable, there's no exponent, so I know those are like terms. They're just like our regular numbers here. Minus 9 and minus 10 is going to be minus 19. So now here, I added my like terms together. I got my y squareds done, I got my y's done, and I got my constant numbers done. Alright, just our regular counting numbers, our integers. Okay? Let's look at one more example here. Okay, we'll look at the bottom. So, I have a variable x, and I don't have any other variable x. So I'm just going to carry that term down. Negative 7x squared. There's nothing else that can add into it. Alright? Now, I also have a k, and I have a negative k. Plus 1k, and then you minus a k, well that's going to be 0. So really those are just going to erase themselves. Just like a 1 and a negative 1. Okay? We have a positive 1k and a negative 1k, so those are just going to erase themselves. And then I'm just going to carry down this negative 10 because nothing else can go with it. There's no other like term for that negative 10. Now you may have noticed I haven't been talking much about the signs. Okay? That's because we've already talked about how to add and subtract integers and variables and stuff with an adding sign, an addition sign, and a subtraction sign. One thing that will really help you is if you change all of your subtractions to additions and then the opposite. Okay? Change all of your subtraction signs to an addition sign and then change it to the opposite. So now you can really see that this is a negative 10. Alright? And this would be okay if you wrote it plus a negative 10 there as well. We know that means the same thing. Okay, go ahead and do these practice problems in your notes, and then you can pause the video right now, and I'll reveal the answers coming up next. But this is the time for you to practice these, and then just check your work right away to see if you're getting them right. Alright, so do a couple, check, do a couple more, check it again. Alright? So here you have the answers for those 4 practice problems. Alright, now make sure you look on Empower to see what you need to do next on that playlist, okay, on that activity. And don't worry about this for right now, okay, we're going to have a different exit ticket at a different time. Okay, so just look at Empower to see what needs to be done next. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.